Hi everyone, I want to try to make a third video because I want to show you another pattern that I've noticed, and this comes up in Isaiah 7. Of course, Isaiah 7 is where it talks about the Revelation 12 sign in verse 14, which makes 777. But if you go to the beginning of the chapter, it says, "And it came to pass in the days of Ahaz," and I've mentioned before that the word Ahaz means rapture. Of course, 7:1 makes the number 17 backwards, but you can see the word Ahaz over here. It's 271. So again, you have 27 and 17 backwards. Okay, and if you look at the meaning of Ahaz, it means he has grasped or taken possession, possessing or grasping. It comes from this word, which is 270. So again, you have the number 27 or the 117 code. It means grasp, take hold, seize, or take possession. Okay, and the word rapture is a form of this word. This is G727. It's a form of the word arpazo, which is the word rapture. You can see that's 276. That means to seize, to carry off by force. And 727 is just a form of the same word. Arpazo is in the first person, singular, and arpax is okay, it actually says here it's an adjective, so this one's a verb, and this is the adjective form of the same word, but they both mean the same thing. It comes from the word arpazo. So again, you have the 117 code or the 27 code, frontwards and backwards, with the word arpax. Okay, getting back to Isaiah 7:1, it says, "And it came to pass in the days of Ahaz," which means rapture, "the son of Jotham, the son of Uzziah, king of Judah." And Uzziah is also mentioned in Zechariah 14. I'll show you that real quick. It's interesting that Strong's number 5818, but if you go all the way down to Zechariah 14, you see it mentioned over here where it says, "And ye shall flee to the valley of the mountains, for the valley of the mountains shall reach unto Azal. Yea, ye shall flee like as ye fled from before the earthquake in the days of Uzziah, king of Judah, and the Lord my God shall come, and all the saints with thee." Okay, so it's saying here, "And it came to pass in the days of Ahaz, the son of Jotham, the son of Uzziah, king of Judah, that Rezin, the king of Syria, and Pekah, son of Remaliah, king of Israel, went up toward Jerusalem to war against it, but could not prevail against it." So you have a confederacy here going against Israel, and this is coming up in Isaiah 7:1, which makes the number 17 backwards. And then it goes on to say, "And it was told the house of David, saying, Syria is confederate with Ephraim, and his heart was moved, and the heart of his people as the trees of the wood are moved with the wind. Then the Lord said unto Isaiah, Go forth now to meet Ahaz," which again means rapture, "thou and Shear-Jashub," and Shear-Jashub means, I'll go ahead and show you, it says, "a remnant shall return." So God is saying to Isaiah to go forth to meet Ahaz, which means rapture, "thou and Shear-Jashub," which means thy remnant shall return, thy son, at the end of the conduit of the upper pool in the highway of the fuller's field." And I've talked all about the fuller's field and what that represents, and this is coming up in Isaiah 7:3, which makes 777 or 3 sevens. And then it goes on to say, "And say unto him, Take heed and be quiet, fear not, neither be faint-hearted, for the 2 tails of the smoking firebrands, for the fierce anger of Rezin with Syria, and of the son of Remaliah." And I've talked about before how Natan talked about 2 missiles that were coming towards Israel that God stopped in his testimony. Okay, it took me forever to find this. This is in the full translation. Over here, this version is the full hours and 48 minutes. And this is at the 40-minute mark and 32 seconds. And the rabbi's saying, wait, now. We'll get to the part about the rockets and missiles. And Natan says yes. Okay, the rabbi's saying here, I heard about that from a lot of sources, that there is also a prophecy that talks about a nuclear bomb. And Natan's saying a nuclear bomb, there will really be a nuclear bomb, but the bomb will be small, not large, and it, the Kadosh Barak, who is talking about God, will simply, or the Messiah, will simply stop it in the sky and it won't fall. So he's saying, do you mean to say they will shoot nuclear bomb at us and Hashem will freeze it in the sky? And Natan's saying he will freeze it in the sky, and then after some time, after a few weeks, it will fall, but it will only fall in specific cities, 2 specific cities, Tel Aviv and Haifa. He's saying the nuclear bomb will only fall on those 2 cities. Okay, getting back to Isaiah 7:4, it says, and say unto him, take heed and be quiet, fear not, neither be faint-hearted, for the 2 tails of these smoking firebrands, for the fierce anger of Rezin with Syria and of the son of Remaliah. And it's interesting that the Strong's number for firebrands is 181. Okay, if you go to the next verse, which is Isaiah 7:5, it says, because Syria, Ephraim, and the son of Remaliah have taken evil counsel against thee, saying, let us go up against Judah and vex it, and let us make a breach therein for us, and set a king in the midst of it. Okay, if you go to this other video, this is a shorter version, and at the 37:44 mark, the rabbi is saying, now someone from the audience asked before, a good question, and I also wanted to ask. How will we know when this has started? He's saying it will come with a boom. First of all, it has already started. He's saying, according to what I saw, it has already started on the date 27th of Elul, which was September 11 in 2015. So the rabbi is saying the 27th of Elul last year, 5775. Okay, so that was in Isaiah 7:5, where it said, because Syria, Ephraim, and the son of Remaliah have taken evil counsel against thee, saying, let us go up against Judah and vex it, and let us make a breach therein for us, and set a king in the midst of it, even the son of Tabeel. Okay, so right after he said the war started in the Hebrew year 5775, he goes on to say, okay, the rabbi said, so how come we don't feel anything? And then Natan said, because the Holy One, blessed is he, will not bring it in the beginning. What will happen is one day everything will explode. Something will happen to cause everything to escalate. We will know instantly that we are in full-blown war. And everyone will say World War III has begun. Everyone will be saying that it's there. There's no time left. Everyone will understand that God is responsible. And the rabbi is saying, so you are saying that there will be some sort of security breach that will blow out of proportion? Okay, and so when you get to verse 6, which makes Isaiah 7:6, it says, let us go up against Judah and vex it, and let us make a breach therein for us, and set a king in the midst of it, even the son of Tabeel. And then in Isaiah 7:7, it says, thus saith the Lord God, it shall not stand, neither shall it come to pass. For the head of Syria is Damascus, and the head of Damascus is Rezin. And within 65 years shall Ephraim be broken, that it shall not be a people. And of course, Ephraim represents the Gentiles. A lot of people say that that represents Babylon, or America represents the Gentiles. And so you see that coming up in Isaiah 7:8, which of course is the Hebrew year, which technically just passed, and supposedly we're in the Hebrew year 7:9 now. Okay, and so I wanted to show you the word resin, because it's saying here, for the head of Syria is Damascus, and the head of Damascus is Rezin. So I wanted to see who Rezin is. And so when you look at the word Rezin, it says it means firm. It's the king of Damascus, and of course the Antichrist supposedly confirms the covenant on the secondary level in Daniel 9:27. He supposedly makes a firm covenant. So it's interesting that the meaning of that is firm. But when you look at the very last use of the word resin, it's in Isaiah 9:11, which I thought was interesting. And this is where it says, it's the prophecy that Rabbi Khan had talked about, how this was fulfilled when Obama wrote on the beam, and it was also repeated by other politicians, where they said, the bricks are fallen, but we will build with hewn stones. The sycamores are cut down, but we will change them into cedars. Therefore the Lord shall set up the adversaries of Rezin against him, and join his enemies together. And so this was the prophecy that was fulfilled when they said, we remember, we rebuild, and we come back stronger. Okay, I also did a Google search to see who Rezin is in the Bible, and I came up with this summary. It says, the king of Damascus, the Israelite Pekah's ally, always mentioned first in the war against the Haz, which means rapture of Judah, in Isaiah 7, verses 4 through 8, Isaiah 7:8 is where it culminates, Isaiah 17, so again you have the number 17, 2 Kings 15:37, 2 Kings 16. He previously attacked Jotham, wrested from Judah, Elath in the Gulf of Aqaba in the Red Sea. Okay, so I just want to show you where Elath in the Gulf of Aqaba is. Just look at this first image over here. You can see that it's on this side. You have the Suez Canal, and I've talked about how the entire Red Sea looks like a DNA strand. I'll show you an image over here. So I've talked about how the Red Sea looks like a DNA strand, and it actually means sea of reeds. And I've talked about how the reed represents DNA, and so this imagery looks like a DNA strand that's replicating. And so this King Rezin had seized Elath in the Gulf of Aqaba, where he tried to seize it. It said he wrested from Judah Elath, which is in the Gulf of Aqaba, and I've talked about how the leading strand is always on the right, so he was trying to get control of the leading strand, which would be on the right, which is represented by the Gulf of Aqaba. Okay, and this is the Rezin, who is the king of Damascus. And then it goes on to, God tells Isaiah to ask for a sign in verse 11. So you have 7:11 code, and then he gives him the sign, which is the Revelation 12 sign. but I'm about out of time, so thanks for watching, and God bless.